Welcome to another Friday Case Breakdown brought to you by ghostbed.com and factormeals.com/wolfpack50 and the Anti-Hero Podcast. Presenting Shell Shock October 18th and 19th in Orlando. Big comedy show, Podcast-a-Palooza, live music. It's going to be epic. October 18th in Orlando. Hope you guys all join us. Go and follow the Anti-Hero Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, or wherever you do your social media, and then give them a 5-star rating review on Podcast, Apple, Spotify, the whole nine. You guys know. You guys all 9 yards. I got Tyler from Anti-Hero Podcast on today for a guest to break down this quadriplegic man Rams cop with wheelchair. This is another one of those stories. The reason why we chose this was one, because our producer is in a wheelchair and we thought it would be funny. He ends up calling in today because he's having some issues. So we're not all going to be able to laugh together with him on it, but we're going to carry on as normal. But this case, there's a lot of good points to bring up in this case on where policing is at. And guess what? You, the citizens, asked for it. And now it's been delivered for you and you don't like it. You made your bed, now sleep in it. I always said I never knew what that meant until I started doing this show. Now I know exactly what it means. This is going to be a really fun show. It'll be kind of loosey-goosey, but with a lot of, there's a lot of video of this. So we'll play a lot of the video. I apologize to you audio listeners, although the audio is really good too. You can hear the totality of this. So here, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. Let's go.
The growing calls across the nation to defund the police.
To end policing as we know it.
Off the charts violence in New York City. 11 people shot in just 8 hours on Sunday.
This is about the police officers who every single day put on that uniform and they run towards danger when we run away from it.
Guns up, giddy up. Welcome to the Failure Stop Friday Breakdown. Let me bring Tyler up here, bring myself up here. All right, here we go. Tyler, you're muted, but good to see you, buddy.
Oh, hold on.
Nope, you're good. No, you're not muted.
Oh.
You were muted. Now you're not muted. You're good to
Yeah,
go.
Apologize for the setup. I'm in between.
We just lost all your audio. Just went way down the tubes there. Today's show is again, it's coming out of Miami, Florida, so pretty close to Tyler's home. Tyler, can you hear us now?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yep, we can hear you now.
Right.
Are you familiar with this case?
Yes.
You are familiar with this case.
Yeah. Well, I think everybody's been meaning to break it down, but it's like it's not a serious case. So I know this show has had put it on the back burner a couple times because a more serious case came out.
Yeah.
But I've been wanting to break this one down for a while.
It's a good one to break down. There's a lot of talking points. I've already watched the tape like 1,500 times, so I'm bored of it. But you guys will not be bored of it, especially if you haven't seen or heard of this case yet. Again, it is out of Miami, Florida. Real quick, though, Cupcakes cameos up in the live chats. Armory Knight, Nijken from across the pond over near the Olympics in Sweden or Netherlands or wherever it is. That guy, Ryan89, is up in here. Elijah Ka, Lauren, Will Cray, Teresa Flobert, Michael Hendrick. Thanks you guys so much. Reginald Rutherford jumping in. Thank you guys for all being up in the live chats. Hopefully you guys will really like today's breakdown. And yeah, I think you guys will enjoy it. And you guys can we'll leave it open to you guys in the chats. You guys can throw in whatever wheelchair jokes you might have. They're already starting to pour in. Reginald Rutherford with the wheelchair. Yep, the wheelchair.
I have a story too, man.
Huh?
I had wrist surgery from a guy from a wheelchair.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So
when do you want to tell that story? You want to tell it now, or you want to wait until we get into it?
Yeah, I can do it quick. So
no, don't do it quick. Take your time.
We get a call. I was on patrol. We get a call that there's a domestic violence call. Pretty standard. We show up. The guy on a wheelchair outside, and he's a thug. He was shot in the back. He's paraplegic now, and we go inside. And his girlfriend's like, "Oh yeah, he beat the shit out of me. He did all this. He did all that. He did all." We're like, "Damn, we got like 7 felonies." So we go outside and we're like, "Hey, dude, he goes, "I'm not going to jail." I'm like, "Yes, you are." And he's like, "No, I'm not going to jail." So I'm like, "Let's just dump him." So we're going to dump him out of the wheelchair. But I had a sergeant at the time who was trying to be a lieutenant. He was terrified of this idea because it looks bad. But how else are you gonna get a guy in a wheelchair that's What are you gonna like? So I have to like carefully dump him,
Right.
and then and all of a sudden I feel my wrist click, and I tore because I was like, when you're fighting, when you're not trained,
right.
you're just so tense when you're fighting, ugh.
Yeah.
When I went to dump him, and I like tore a cartilage in my wrist, dumping him, and so we finally got him secured. We're putting him in the back seat of the car. He headbutts me in the face. Fucking wheelchair dudes. They're a
Dude,
threat.
I had a kid in a wheelchair selling dope out of his wheelchair all the time. Finally died of bed sores from his ass. His mom wasn't cleaning his bed sores, so he ended up dying. But yeah, one time I pulled up because this is a mean story. This was before body cameras, but
You say a
this will
mean
make all the
story?
people that hate the cops will take this story and just absolutely murder it. Oh well. It's in context. The guy was a bad dude. Okay. Corn Pop was a bad dude. This guy stole like tons of cars before he got it put into a wheelchair. He stole like 30 something cars. He was a teenager, just a huge POS. And just his mom was such a POS. His older brother was in prison. His mom would we would hold him at the police station, and his mom would be like, well, I'll just get there when I get there. And we're like, no, like we caught your kid in a stolen vehicle. Come get your son from the police station. Nah, it's fine. I'll get him when I get there. And dude, she'd make us wait for hours. and then she would yell at us for like, why are we always picking on him? And maybe they shouldn't leave their cars running. Anyway, the guy ends up shooting himself in the neck, playing with a gun, and becomes a paraplegic, quadriplegic, whatever you want to call it. And I don't know what the right term is actually.
Oh, he was dead in the arms too, or just a lower waist lower?
I think he was like, I think he had like minimal use of his hands. So he did he had to talk through the machine, and he was like, always like, yes. So we got to think that these kids were selling drugs out of the back of this guy's wheelchair.
Oh,
I pull up on him.
They were using him to sell drugs.
Yeah. And they all took off running, and it was just him there. And so I called the kid out by name, by his government name. And I was like, you're not out here selling drugs, are you? And I was just going to keep driving away. Like, I'm not going to bother with it. And he goes like this. He's like, does one of these with his middle finger shaking. And I just like make sure nobody's around. And I go, I'm going to make up a name. I was like, hi, Jonathan. Remember that time you were playing with a firearm and you shot yourself in the neck? Now you have to eat through a feeding tube. And then I just drove off. I felt bad. But whatever.
It's
3 months later.
Hey, at least you didn't take him to jail. That's what I would say.
Yeah, at least I didn't take him to jail. This case is though somebody's already got up in the chats here, and they said there's nothing standard about this case. See what you did there. I like it. Cupcake says paraplegic is from the waist down, quadriplegic is from the neck down. So
Okay.
it's from the neck down, but how do they still get to use their hand? Yeah, thanks, Dr. Cupcakes.
Maybe it's like all they can do is just like
yeah.
just pass the dope like this.
I mean, we wouldn't make fun of you if you weren't selling drugs. Like if you were just a regular normal quadriplegic, we would like empathize with you. But I'll tell one more quick story. My uncle, Vietnam veteran, lost his leg to diabetes. Because sometimes I would be anyway. The running joke was he's a Vietnam veteran. People be like, "Oh my god, thank you for your service. How'd you lose your leg? Was it in Vietnam?" And he's like, "No, it was the diabetes." But anyway, he had one of these same wheelchairs that this guy has, and he was going through the drive-through across from his neighborhood. So he crosses 4-lane intersection, goes through the drive-through on his mobility chair device, goes through the drive-through, gets into the window. They hand him the food. They're all laughing because they're trying not to laugh, but like it's pretty funny when you have like a dude on a mobility device come through the drive-through window. And then his mobility device dies, and he calls AAA. And they ask him what kind of it dies in the drive-through. So he calls AAA. He explains to AAA that his 4-wheel vehicle is broke down, but he won't tell them what kind of vehicle it is. So he's like, I'm just going to need a flatbed. So they show up with a flatbed and wheel his little tiny wheelchair up on the flatbed and strap it down. And AAA gives him a ride back to his house and tows his wheelchair because it's covered under AAA.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
which is kind of what happens in this case ish. So, all right, I'm going to play the news story before the body camera broke out. And I just love for you guys to hear how the news jumps on a story like this. Here we go. You ready?
Local 10 News, a quadriplegic man speaking out after he's accused of ramming his wheelchair into officers.
He faced a judge on battery charges, but he says cops got it all wrong. Local 10's Janine Stanwood is live in Southwest Miami-Dade with the exclusive. Janine. He is a quadriplegic, a recording artist, and you said it. He believes that police should not have arrested him. He even said that his wheelchair was damaged. The case even taking the judge by surprise.
I have truly never seen a case like this.
The judge says this is a first. A quadriplegic man facing 2 counts of battery on a law enforcement officer. Although he can't use his limbs, police say Bryant Amastha struck an officer with his motorized wheelchair.
They claimed that I hit them with my wheelchair.
Amastha tells us a different story. Did you?
I absolutely did not.
It was Wednesday when police responded to a dispute between Amastha and his mother at their Southwest Miami-Dade home. According to the report, when she was arrested, he got agitated.
The officer, she bumped into my wheelchair because I was standing in the driveway and the driveway is thin.
The report stated that you spit at an officer.
Right. So I suffer from acid reflux, so I normally spit. And I spat like the totally different direction.
Amastha's stage name is Valiente. He's a recording artist with more than 18,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Hello, sir. How are you?
When we met, rescue came to the home to take him to the hospital.
Yeah.
He says he was hurt when he was arrested and taken out of his chair to be put in a squad car.
They manhandled me. They tried to cuff me with my hands on my back, which I can't do.
My client's not a flight risk, clearly.
Or him, but I am going to order him not to have any contact with the officers should they come across each other's paths, all right?
So a spokesperson with Miami-Dade Police tells us they have received no complaints from Amastha, and this is the first that they've heard of any allegations of rough arrest or damage to the wheelchair. There is body camera video of all of this, and we have requested it. We're in Southwest Miami-Dade. I'm Janine Stanwood, Local 10 News.
Can't wait to see the follow-up. Janine, thanks a lot.
wow.
Can't wait to see the follow-up, Janine. Do you think that's the whole story?
Well,
do you believe him?
First off, he suffers from acid reflux, so he spits like one of those Jurassic Park things. He can't help it. God, dude,
Like a spitting camel.
Wait. So he just when the news was there talking to him, he was like, "Oh, you know what? I'm hurt."
No, so he calls the news. I bet the news is like, "We're gonna come over and do a story," and then he's like, "Oh God, they manhandled me. I'm going back to the hospital." You know what I mean? For the theatrics.
I already got out of jail. I already got home. I'm going.
Right. Like this is gonna be like the news is picking it up. Like it's viral. This is his moment, bro. Yeah. This is his moment. I don't know. Like what's the percent you're at right now that he's telling the truth, that he bumped into the cop and that he spit in the other direction?
If I hadn't seen this video, you know, I just like what no cop is gonna risk that being too rough on a cripple. Like it's to get, you know what I'm saying? It's like dealing with it's too high profile of an arrestee, right? No.
Right, like cops aren't like soulless dudes who are gonna fuck with somebody in a wheelchair. You know what I mean? Like, if we're gonna bully somebody, we're gonna bully those who would have bullied us in high school, not the guy in the wheelchair. Like, we would have been friends with that guy in the wheelchair. Well, we're gonna get into it, but before we do, today's show is brought to you by ghostbed.com/Wolfpack. Sleep so good and scary. I wonder if this homeboy sleeps in a ghost bed. Obviously not, because he's a cranky little guy. Just an angry man. What is it with what was the movie with the elf? You remember where he's like, "Call me little man one more time."
Elf.
Yeah, Elf.
Yeah.
This guy reminds me of Peter Dinklage in Elf. He's an angry elf. He's so angry. Maybe if they sent him a ghost bed with that adjustable base and the massage,
he could sleep just on a ghost bed pillow, though. He doesn't need a whole bed.
Oh, I see what you did there. Yeah, he is very short. He's a very short man. By the way, I saw a guy yesterday on a date with my wife, and the guy had no leg, like up to his hip.
Bro, I thought you said the way I heard that. I saw a guy on a date with my wife last night.
No.
Hey, what are you doing? You left me for a cripple?
My wife and I were having a three-way with a legless dude. No, but this guy, like, how do you lose your leg all the way up to its hip?
Ooh, man. Maybe
That's pretty traumatic.
A removal, like it got taken out. Like,
oh, just sounds painful. Anyway,
Yeah.
going back to Ghost Bed, they got the massage topper, the zero gravity massage modes, the adjustable base. You got the cooling sheets. If you get hot, like you do here in North Carolina, you got those cooling sheets to keep you cool when you're staying hard. I love the massage topper. I have a Brazilian jiu-jitsu tournament tomorrow that I'm resting up for. So you know what I'm going to do to get ready for the BJJ tournament tomorrow? I'm going to lay on my Ghost Bed massage topper for about an hour tonight and just meditate and just picture all the moves in my brain as I'm getting massaged by my zero gravity massage topper. What is zero gravity? It just means it doesn't have like those abrasive rollers in it. It's got like air, and it like lifts up your shoulder while like sagging on the other shoulder, so it pops your back and all these. Dude, it's so amazing. We also have factormeals.com/Wolfpack50, 50% off. That's meal planning to the next level. That way, if you want to get lean and mean like our guy here in the wheelchair, you can go with the calorie conscious. If you want to get jacked and swole like Tyler from the Anti-Hero podcast, you can go protein heavy. These are chef prepared, fresh, never frozen meals delivered right to your door. Not frozen. They come in this like box with this beautiful little dry ice that keeps everything cool. You take all your meals out, which come in these like little trays, and you just put them right in your refrigerator. They stack on each other. They're color coordinated. So you know if you've got breakfast, lunch, or dinner, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you know which meal you want to take for which day. And again, it's just meal planning to the next level. And you say, well, man, that sounds really expensive. Well, by the time you drive to the grocery store, have you seen gas prices? By the time you do all the shopping and your kids are putting rando shit in your grocery cart, which also costs more money, you go in for 5 things, you come out with 10. Are you really saving any money? No, you're not. Then you got to drive all the way back home. Then you got to unload all the groceries. Then you got to start cooking all this shit one at a time. You got to cook your shrimp. Then you got to cook your chicken. You got to cook your beef. You got to separate it all. When you could have just saved all that time, all that effort, all that energy, all that money, went to factormeals.com/Wolfpack50 for 50% off and picked out your meals from hundreds of menu items. Head over there right now. It is not too late. Christmas is coming around the corner. Now is the time to start losing that weight so you get that Christmas bod, that Thanksgiving bod, that when you show up to Thanksgiving, you can guiltlessly gorge yourself, if that's the right word. Just eat everything and get so fat. But you can do it shamelessly because you've lost all that weight leading up to Thanksgiving and the holidays. Don't wait. Start now. Head over to factormeals.com/Wolfpack50. Last but not least, you guys got to get ready for Shell Shock October 18th and 19th in Orlando, Florida. Comedy show at Tactical Brewing Company. We'll be selling tickets here soon. And then we have the big live show and concert on that Saturday. And what is the hotel everybody's staying in?
The Sheridan.
North Orlando.
Yeah.
Everybody get a room now. Call the Sheridan, North Orlando. Get you a room. Is there a discount for the Shell Shock yet?
We're waiting on the link. Don't probably have that in a week. Yes, there is one. They have to sign the contract with us.
Okay. So anyway, if you want to get your room now, book it now. And go to it's a Sheridan, North Orlando, but we want to see all you guys in Orlando for a big podcast, a Palooza, lots of special guests, live events. It's going to be epic. All right, here we go. So you heard the story here from the guy's own mouth. He was, it's nothing. I didn't do anything wrong. Like they bumped into me. Like I was spinning in a different direction. And of course the media is like gobbling it all up because they love this shit. So let's go ahead and see what the call actually was like. Let me put up another body camera footage. This is body camera footage from the actual event. I'll breeze through it, but it'll make it entertaining. Here we go.
Help you. Okay. So these are.
By the way, let me paint this picture. This is a nice Miami Dade home. It's very Florida-esque home, stucco houses, really nice houses. There's a Tesla in the garage and a Jeep Cherokee. Real nice neighborhood. I guess you would call that an affluent. Is that an affluent neighborhood?
Affluent.
Is that the word?
Yeah. What are they there for?
Domestic disturbance, a domestic dispute. But homeboy here, well, I'll play it. I'll let him explain it.
Her and her mom are my groups. They come to help provide services for me.
Okay.
I'm sitting in the office today working here, and I work from home.
Okay.
And my mother and her mother started having a verbal dispute. I hear all this commotion, I hear all this screaming. I'm in the middle of work, so I took a break and come outside, see what's going on. And I just told her to be quiet, tell me what's going on.
You think he told everybody to just be quiet?
Yeah. Hey
Told
guys,
everybody
just be quiet. Come on.
Just be quiet, guys. Like, I'm here to mediate this. I'm going to play it just a little bit longer, and then I'm going to stop it, and I'll put it into layman's terms for you. What's going on here?
Basically, the situation is that they have keys to come to the house to provide services to me, and I provided to them. She, when I say she is my mother, was upset because they were coming in and out to provide services. The eight. She, my mom, was upset that they were coming in and out to provide services.
So his mom is upset that his aid worker, which is a girl, and her mom have keys to the house, and they come in and out multiple times a day to provide him services. So you're like, well, why isn't the mom providing services? Well, because they had another domestic dispute a little earlier on in the year, and mom lost those rights to service him, and it's mom's house.
Unfortunate for her.
Yeah. And so now this young woman and her mom are now coming in multiple times a day to service him. You'll see here shortly where she is quickly removing a vape pen from this guy's back of this guy's wheelchair, which makes me go, okay, we see what's going on there, right? You know what I mean? Like, you're about to get arrested. All this stuff's going down, and the one thing you're concerned about is a vape machine in the back of this guy. Out of anything that you want to get from this guy, it's his vape machine that you're going to go after. I don't know. Maybe are they servicing him, or are they just bringing him drugs? Who knows? I mean, I don't know. Who knows? But here, this is his story. I'll let him tell it.
Do you know if she gave him any orders or something? Hey, listen, don't come during this time, or just give him, like just knock or something?
She cannot, number one, because it's my services. She has no authority to make decisions about my medical services. Number one.
So you're, she's not the one that's, because you know how sometimes when individuals, caregivers.
the cop, the supervisor, is trying to be so nice. She's like, she doesn't want to be like your babysitter, your care.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, you've been there where you're like, you don't know the words to use. So she's trying her best.
And stuff like that. She's not listening
because of the last altercation that had happened last year. She was removed.
Did the courts deem you as capable of
never
making
had
decisions and stuff? No, it's not custody. It's like, you know how the courts sometimes will do that just to make sure that the best interest of the individual with disabilities or injuries or stuff?
It has never come to that.
Yeah, I'm just making sure. That's one of the things that I just want to make sure.
It has never come to that point, and because I'm an adult, I can make my own decisions.
Yeah, but
no, I
you understand, man.
He's like, I'm an adult, I can make my own. She's like, yeah, but
what this guy? Where does this guy's entitlement come from? I mean, usually it'd be a very humbling experience to be in that wheelchair, and you'd be very appreciative of people helping you, and you're not going to fight the police because you're probably going to lose statistically because you don't have your limbs.
Right.
And I just don't understand. Like, this guy has probably been like, what's the right word? I mean, entitled his whole life. Like,
dude, everything's like been smooth. Like, I know a guy that's a quadriplegic as well, and I have always told, I gotta be careful. I don't think he listens to the show, so I'll be all right. But I've always told my wife, like, it's exhausting being around him because of his sense of entitlement, which is weird because we're all kind of friends. But it gets super aggravating where it's like, dude, I don't want to go to restaurants with him. Because it's like the food's always not going to be the way he wants it. Yeah. And it's just like everywhere he goes, like, he'll bring up stuff. He'll be like, you guys know that your ADA ramp's a little steep and I bet it's not up to code. And you're just like, shut the fuck up, dude. Yeah, dude. Like, you got up it just fine. Like, who gives a shit? You know what I mean? He's like one of these guys. It's just like, I get, for lack of a better word or sentence, I would say he is like a victim, like a professional victim.
Yeah, and it's almost not their fault. Their whole life they've been taught that that's how they get what they need, and and then they get nasty I don't want to say they. I'm generalizing. I'm talking about people like him. Because I personally ran into people like that.
Yeah. Somebody says in the chats, bitter is probably the more accurate word. Maybe not entitlement. Yeah. Maybe like they're bitter. But they're not bitter. Like they just.
No.
I think like you will do this for me and you'll do it now.
That's entitlement.
That's entitlement.
That's a rich person that's what they're used to. It's really not an insult. It's an explanation on why people act a certain way because they're entitled.
Yeah. All right, here we go. I'm gonna play this. I'll fast forward a little bit.
Her and her mom, this lady?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, and then your mom. Okay, now I understand.
Her and her mom work at different shifts. When she works at Monday to something.
They cover for each other.
Exactly. It's a teamwork.
So he's explaining that this mom and daughter, it's like the mom comes during the day while the girl works, and then at night the girl comes while the mom sleeps. So it's like kind of like teamwork, flip-flopping around. Let me bring up this other one here. The next part of this video that I clipped. The whole thing was really long. I kind of cut it up into its best parts. If you really want to watch the whole video for yourself, the whole 17 minutes of it, it's at Law and Crime on YouTube. Just go to Law and Crime and type in quadriplegic man arrested by police, and you'll find the video. You can watch the whole daggone thing. But I cut it up into the most important parts for you on this video.
Like, look, you have the ability to have somebody come in that's not them to take care of you.
When everything happened back in September, when you guys took over the first time, I had moved out and I requested 24 hours and we still denied. So it's not because of that. Regardless. So whatever, she and I started arguing. She tried to slap me. I moved back and she didn't hit me at all. She just like kind of grazed me with the nail.
Yeah, that's still touching though.
But whatever, I don't want to press charges. I don't want.
The thing is that
Hold on. The best part's coming right here in 2 seconds, then I'll stop.
Said and done.
So I came out.
We don't have any discretion on domestics, you understand? So it is what it is. So.
I came out to try and avoid the situations, and all I need to understand is that she has to let the aides come in. Because if she doesn't want to help me, I mean, she can't because of her age.
So what do you want me to do as a supervisor? Because they said you needed a supervisor.
If you could just speak to her and just explain to her.
Yeah, these officers are capable of doing that. You don't have to call us every single time.
Well, she's the one who called. I didn't call.
Oh, she requested a supervisor.
I didn't call. She's the one. She's the one that made the original call and everything.
No, it shows you. You're Bryant.
I made a second call.
Oh, okay.
She's the original call.
Yeah. She's the one requesting a supervisor?
No, I requested a supervisor just for a
Oh, there we go. Like fucking, we've gone full circle, you fucking ass clown. Like,
dude, this guy just starting with that fucking I mean, she grazed me, but I don't want to press charges. He's been there before. He voluntarily said in a DV situation, I don't want to press charges. He knows exactly what his little bitch ass is doing. And that's nothing against a cripple. That's just people like that. They're using the police as pawns in their little relationship game because they know we're going to come handle it.
Well, I mean, but that's like straight hood culture, though. Like this happens in the hood every single day where I work. It's like they have these little domestic disputes over who ate the last carton of eggs or whatever it may be, or who drank the last little bit of the milk. And then they call the police and they're like, I mean, yeah, she did hit me, but I don't want to press charges. Well, then why did you say she just hit me? Then why did you say that? Because you know, like these folks know the rules. Once you've been there for domestic violence 2 or 3 times, you know how it works. By the way, you saw the magic word there. He said that she grazed me, and you heard the officer say, well, she still touched you, and that's, technically assault, and, our hands are tied. There is zero discretion in domestic violence situations because of Gabby Petito.
Yeah, and then people like this ruin that. Like there's a zero discretion because of that case that you just said, and then the people like this are able to take advantage of that, and so then we're bogged down with bullshit because, I mean, this guy had a whole plan to fucking make it all about. Luckily, that supervisor is quick and we're like, no, you're lying to my face. Like, no, and then you said full circle. Oh, so you did call. And you did request a supervisor. Okay. Gotcha.
Okay. Yeah. Check. Yeah. Because these officers can't handle it. You know what I mean? And that's another thing that really makes me mad. It's like, let me talk to your supervisor. And you're like, dude, my supervisor is a bigger piece of shit than I am. Like, you're not going to be happy when he gets here because he's just going to say, everybody goes to jail. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he's going to do everything by the book, whereas I have like discretion because I can just be like, oh, well, I didn't know. I'm not a supervisor. You know, now you got a supervisor there, and you told the supervisor that she struck you in the face. She's definitely going to jail now, big guy.
Well, here's it, because the supervisors were not there when the initial claim came out. So a supervisor, like you said, is always going to err on the side of caution. They're going to say, well, then I don't know everything, but from what you told me, because hey, Sarge, she grazed him. Okay, that's all I know. Jail. Not she was running from him or he was blocking the door frame with his little wheelchair and she was trying to get by and graze him. That's different. But supervisor does not know all the details. If you just tell him the basics of meat and potatoes, he's going to go with jail. And you, as a patrol officer, you can sit there and go, okay, is this a mentally ill situation? Is this something where now they have these things where if there's no witnesses, no evidence, nothing but just he said, she said, if they agree here in Florida, if they agree to part ways on their own, on scene with you there, you can file with the state attorney's office and let the state attorney figure out, hey, how are we going to handle these people? Because,
well, in this case, you have witnesses because you have the mom and the woman, the aides. You have the AIDS workers, and then you also have the mom, the real mom. So you've got 3 people on scene that have all given their sides of the story, and now this clown has gone above and beyond to sit in his little wheelchair and call for an additional supervisor. So now you got tons of cops, which is such an asinine thing to do. Like, just sit there and wait for your turn. We're going to listen to your story. And if your story is different, we're going to figure it out. But, you know, I guarantee you they were like, sit over there. We're going to talk to each one of these folks. And when it's your turn, it's your turn. And he was like, oh, I'm not getting my side of the story told. I'm going to call a supervisor because this isn't going the way I want it to. And he calls supervisor. Here, let me play it out here.
No, you don't need to. You really don't need to call a supervisor unless it's something that, like, you see that is not being done properly by the officers or something that is to your concern. But usually, the majority of all the officers that we have out here, they, especially when it comes to domestics, they don't have any discretion, unfortunately, and they have to take action. A lot of times,
if someone has to go, I'll go.
You can't go because you already gave certain statements, so we're not gonna take you. Because you're the one that was the victim of the battery, so. But you know, she's a witness too, so she's writing a statement. You want to write a statement as well?
So yeah, the officer's just saying, like, dude, listen, it's your fault. She has to go to jail now because you said. Now she goes on to say, like, he's begging. He goes on to beg for a few minutes. It's obnoxious, so I didn't play it. Again, go to Law and Crime, listen to it for yourself. You want to listen to him beg? She's like, well, hang on, let me talk to these other officers. Let me see what they say. So she goes down to the road and she kind of converses with their guys, and they all say, like, no, there's no way out of this. Like, she has to go to jail. Yeah. He said it on multiple body cameras, and so now they're going to go and arrest the wife. And here, I'll play it from here. I mean, not the wife, the mother.
A little further, and then we'll get back to you guys.
So that's the aid worker. Did you see her?
Yeah.
Did you see her really quick? This is the aid worker who keeps coming in and out, you know, with the mom.
No, we're just gonna we're looking at the options that we have.
I'm willing to. If someone just goes in, so she could go in, I could get some clothes and leave for a couple of days. I can go to my girlfriend's house for a couple of days and just let things cool off. And
just go wait over there. I'm gonna talk to him about it, and we'll keep you informed. Thanks.
So the mom is like a super well put together older woman who just looks like she is exhausted, doesn't she? Like, yeah. She just looks like she's gotten to the point where she's had to deal with this asshole for a long time, and she's just fucking bone tired of it. He mentioned in the other video that I didn't show you when he's going through the argument, he says the last time that he had her arrested for domestic violence, he had her Baker acted. She tried to commit suicide by taking diazepam. And then he had to Baker act her a second time. But like, she just looks like she's just probably a slave to this kid. You know what I mean? Like, that's the impression I get, is that she's just this kid's bitch.
Yeah.
She's super sweet, whatever. So here we go. This is so they're gonna go ahead and put her into handcuffs. They've got a Spanish speaking officer. She's legit. She knows what's going on.
You want to take me? Take me. I just told you.
And then here comes little wheelchair boy.
Here he comes.
Not to do that. They gotta leave the house.
You can't do that, man. Once there's a battery, we have no discussion.
Bro, I just told you she didn't hit me. Her nail grazed me. That's all. That's all she did. All right, so take me.
Don't hit me, bro.
So just take me then.
Don't hit me.
If she's going, I'm going.
Brian, don't hit me.
If she's going, I'm going.
telling you right now.
If she's going, I'm going.
Calm down.
Bro. If she goes, I go. If she goes, I go.
Going, Brian.
If she's, then I'm going.
Hey.
So he's, for those of you who are just listening, which is like 99% of you guys, he's ramming them. He's like pushing them with the chair. She finally takes a step away from the chair and he just rams her. It's not very hard. And it's not like she's going to arrest him for this, but I mean, like he like hits her with the fucking wheelchair. Like he's like trying to run her over.
It's so funny because these cops are showing their discretion. They're showing their restraint because on paper, black and white, he deserved to be taken to the ground the first time, let alone the second time. And you can articulate, I don't want my toe ran over. His wheelchair could break my toe. He hit me a first time and he went to hit me a second time and I escorted him to the ground.
I'm just glad
yeah,
I'm glad the Sonia Massey cop is not here because he'd be like, I'll shoot you in your fucking face.
That's what I'm saying. You have cops, and that's the fucking wide range of quote unquote discretion that we have because neither one of them are wrong in the situation. You just have.
Stop. Take me. No. Shut up. You shut the.
Okay, so this part is hilarious. This is why I recorded this. I'm going to rewind it just a little bit. I want you to hear this conversation. And so remember when I said, do you think he just went outside and said, everybody be quiet? Listen to when he tells his mom to be quiet. Listen to this.
Stop, man.
Take my hands. Stop. Take me. No. Shut up. You shut the up. I'm going.
That's his mom.
He tells his mom to shut the fuck up.
In front of the cops. So can you only imagine the verbal abuse he gives her when the cops aren't there?
Your mic turned back down.
Take me.
So they're moving mom's bracelets, handcuffing her in the front, letting her take off all the bracelets, which is really nice and kind. So they're basically doing this because they absolutely have to. And they're kind of doing this to show Bryant that they have to do. They're like, look, dude, this is your fault. Like this sweet old lady, this sweet Hispanic old lady right here is going to jail because of you.
Hey, bro. We just have conversation. And you told me one thing, you go another stunt.
Either she was gonna be Baker acted or she was gonna.
All right, so Baker actor. So Baker actor.
You cannot Baker act on a domestic violence case.
What the f are you talking about?
So this is her house. She doesn't get any say what happens in her house because this 25-year-old, 26-year-old rapper lives in her house, works in his house, has his little rap buddies who are caregivers, quote unquote, coming in and out of his house whenever they want. And she gets no say in anything. And he gets to play his loud ass music. And now he's yelling at her for them to Baker act her in her house. And like, she's got no, she has no ground to stand on. He has no leg to stand on. No, he has legs to stand on, and she doesn't, which is awkward in this case. But
I acted last time.
But that was some other.
All right, so take me. Take me. I'm going.
So now they're trying to put the nice old lady who's being very respectful and very polite into the back of this patrol car, which sucks for her.
Whoa, why you?
And here comes Bryant. Bam, dude. Just full speed smacks into this cop's shins, bro. Like, fuck, man.
Just fucking tail whips into him.
Yeah.
Laughing at me, bro?
We're not laughing at
what the
He hits him again.
Hey.
You fucking laughing at me, bro? You
This
fucking
guy,
laughing at me,
this
bro?
guy has gone his entire life talking shit to people like this, and they're like, what am I going to do? I can't do anything. That's the entitlement.
Slap the
this guy
fucking shit out of him.
Yeah.
What the f wrong with you? Why the f you locked me out of my house?
We're gonna explain it to you right now. Go over there. And
I ain't going nowhere.
Mom is being super sweet and polite. They're just explaining to her what's going to happen to her. Meanwhile, her son is acting like a fucking lunatic.
I want to talk to you.
You stay with
All right, so I'm gonna stop it here.
Look at that tech guy.
And then I really want to, and then I'm gonna play this last video, which you guys are gonna love. And this is the news story. I want to go back to the news story versus the actual truth. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
You ready for this? Here we go. Oh, let me remove this one. Here we go. This is the best.
Amastha and his mother, seen here in red, were involved in an argument. But when mom is put in handcuffs, this happens.
Nah, bro, don't fucking do that.
Brian.
Nah,
Hey,
man.
stop hitting me with the
No,
chair,
man,
Brian.
stop doing
That's a
that.
battery on a
You
wheel.
just said
When we interviewed Amastha back then, he told us this.
They claim that I hit them with my wheelchair.
Did you?
I absolutely did not.
The report stated that you spit at an officer.
Right. So I suffer from acid reflux, so I normally spit. And I spat like the totally different direction.
But this is the video.
You want to listen or not?
Here in red, were involved in an argument.
Did you see it?
What
No,
when
wait,
mom-
no.
idiot.
Right. So
Watch him spit.
I suffer from acid reflux, so I normally spit. And I spat like the totally different direction.
But this is the video.
You want to listen or not?
Bro, did you see the loogie?
Did he not know they had body cams?
Dude, I guess not. I'm telling you right
mean-
now, bro. I'm telling you right now. If that dude would have spit, that was a big ass. You could see the fucking loogie, like a very well formed Hawk Tua coming right at. I would have punched him into. I would have punched the paraplegic out of him. He'd been walking again.
Nowadays, you can't do that.
What, punch him for spitting on you?
Yeah, I don't think.
I don't care. I would have saw red and I would have fucking.
I know. I'm saying I'm trying to think of like.
That's so fucking gross, dude. Like,
He's
look at this
not-
loogie. Look at
he's
this
not
loogie. Look at
detained.
it. Look, I'll see if I can pause it. Let me see if I can pause it. And you can see the loogie in the air.
You want to listen or
Oh,
So what could have happened
Is the
if-
video.
You want to
If,
listen?
she,
Oh,
if the cop
gross.
behind, can you hear me?
yeah.
If the cop behind him had seen that, she could absolutely grab him and pull him down and like wreck his wheelchair like that to avoid spitting. But I'm trying to think like if you could articulate. So he was right in front of you, and you're like, "Yes, Sergeant." And he's like, "Okay," and he spit at you, right at your feet, and you're like, "Yes, Sergeant." And then you cold clocked him from the front. What was the goal for that? Oh, I didn't want him to spit on me anymore. Well, couldn't you? Like, I mean, it's just both sides. I guess I'm looking at it through optics, which I hate
Yo,
to
I mean,
think
you
it was.
can't. You cannot punch them in the face justifiably. You can't. I'm just saying, I would, and I would just take it on the chin. I'd be like, "Fuck it, dude." Like, I don't know. You spit on me or you bite me, I'm putting my hands on you. You know what I'm saying? If
Yeah.
anything, like I'll like reach down and grab the front wheels of that wheelchair and flip that bitch straight up in the air, and he can spit loogies at like an astronaut if he wants to. But I mean, this isn't even down at his feet, dude. Like, look at this loogie. This is like right at his like crotch.
Video.
You want to listen or not?
Did it hit him?
Oh, I'm sure it did. Did you? Are you not seeing the video?
I'm seeing it. I don't know if it
That's
hit
his
him.
body camera video, which is like right at his chest. Look at the loogie.
Video.
You want to listen or not?
Okay.
That's
I mean,
100% on his leg.
it says all the claims were spit at them. That's why I'm asking. I didn't know if maybe it missed him or what.
I mean, it might have missed him, but it doesn't look like it on this video. All right, hold on.
Amastha also told us he felt humiliated during his arrest
bro, you laughing at me, bro?
because he was separated from his motorized wheelchair, which he says was damaged when it was put on a flatbed. You see one officer appearing to text someone, joking that they were going to.
So there's a whole bunch of laughing emojis on this text, and it says, "I'm dying." He goes, "We're gonna put this dude on a flatbed."
That is amazing. Yeah, don't
Wait,
fucking you want to see what cops do. That's what cops do.
Oh, dude, for sure, bro.
Well-
If you were arresting Sony, a quadriplegic, every single person on squad would be texting you.
Yeah.
Yo, what the fuck
nice
is going on,
bro?
Yeah, like,
Dude, one time, the only thing I got in trouble for during that paraplegic call, because in my experience, I had to go back to the guy's house because he got out of jail and he fucking, after headbutting me and all that stuff, he got out of jail, went right back to his house and beat his wife again, or beat his girlfriend again.
how do you let somebody that's a quadriplegic beat you?
I don't know. So I tackled him right in his fucking living room off his, my body cam, you could see my little fucking wrist thing, and I tackled him in his living room. Said, "We're not doing this again." And then, but that being said, I got in trouble that all those cases, both instances, I only got in trouble because I told him at one point, I was like, go wheel yourself over there. I'll talk to you in a second. And that was deemed, what do you like, not nice or not the best way to say it. Go wheel yourself over there.
Go wheel yourself right over there. And you turn your wheelchair towards the corner and you stare at the wall until I get over there. Fucking.
To put him on the tow truck.
Yeah, because
Officers later seen inspecting their legs. Amastha charged.
Which I like how the news like wants to bring this up because the news is probably like, look at these fucking loser cops. Like they have to do it. Like a supervisor is going to come up. If you say he hit you with a wheelchair, the supervisor is going to go, let me see it. And you'll be like, well, I don't think there's any marks. Let me see it. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to get an option not to inspect because that's just the bureaucratic red tape of the whole job. You know what I mean? Like the supervisor is like, oh, you got hit, you got assaulted. I physically have to see if there's an injury.
With 2 counts of battery on a law enforcement officer.
You know what though?
But you remember, bro?
You make the Moos look like shit. They're going to turn around and they're going to make you look like shit. Like,
yeah,
they're obviously not going to eat that fucking piece they did on him at first where he lied his ass off. They're going to go,
accused
okay,
of ramming his wheelchair into officers.
He faced a judge on battery charge. Janine Stanwood is live in. Should not. The case.
The judge on a law that struck an officer with his motorized wheelchair.
They claimed that I hit them with my wheelchair.
Amastha tells us a different story. Did you?
I absolutely did not.
It was.
I absolutely did not.
I absolutely did not. Well, there you go. There you have it, man. So you remember when this news story first came out, a lot of you guys sent me the messages, DMs on like, what the fuck did this really happen? And I just said, wait till the body cam comes out. Like, I'm sure there's a different side of the story, just like I say all the time, but you still do it, guys. Like you still see these mainstream media clips and you still fall for it. I have another good mainstream media live for you. We had a hurricane storm thing run up the East Coast. And I took a screen grab of our local news, and this is what they wrote. It says, Tropical Storm Debbie could be the once in a 1,000-year storm.
Just, yeah, we got to.
It was a nothing. It was like a little bit of rain, not very much wind. What was it like for you guys?
I got rain. I got more rain in a regular rainstorm the next day than I did from the tropical storm.
Same with us. I mean, it rained a lot, but it was like off and on, like drizzly, just kind of doomy, gloomy. But the day that everybody canceled work and nobody went to work and they shut everything down, restaurants were shut down, me and my boys skateboarded for 6 hours at a skateboard shoot. It didn't rain at all. It wasn't even windy. We skated for 6 hours. What's that?
I sent you another video via IG, email, and text to see if you can. I sent it. I was gonna send it to Josh, but he's I didn't know he took the day off.
Yeah, he's out today, and I don't know how to do it.
Oh man, it goes along with our cripples in the wheelchairs.
Oh my god, the dude's running. The guy's running in a wheelchair.
Bro, it's hilarious.
That's hilarious.
Free my.
And the cop is running.
They pulled the squad car up, bro. Like he did something. Like he committed a violent felony.
Oh my gosh, dude. That is crazy. I'll post this video that he just shared with us. I'll post it on the Instagram, Failure to Stop Instagram. I'll have that video up here pretty shortly at the end of this episode. We only got about 5 minutes left of the year. Before we get out of here, tell us about Shell Shock for October 18th.
We just put out the flyer this morning. I should have sent it to you, man. My bad. We'll have it for next time.
That's okay.
But our headliners are Evergreen Terrace. So, and we picked them because obviously this is second Shell
Love
Shock.
Evergreen Terrace.
This is the second one. The first one, man, we did out of a VFW. Like we had nothing. We had no money. It was like the heart of it was it made it successful. So this time we had a little bit of green. We had a little bit of know-how now. We're not fucking agents. We're not in the music scene. We don't know. We don't produce shows. So we had our budget and we're like, dude, Evergreen Terrace is who we wanted. And we finally got them on board. And then just a bunch of great bands around Florida. So, some of them may or may not have first responders in their ranks. Yeah. And proceeds are going to the Cat 2 Foundation, which they give tens of thousands of dollars a year to first responders that are injured on the job. And
Okay.
some of the injuries are PTSD related. Like when you're super fucked up from a call and you can't go back to work, and you're
Right.
you're medically cleared to take a while off. So it's
Yeah.
gonna be a good time. We're gonna turn that into a good time.
Hell yeah, brother. When I broke my leg, because they only pay you, like you have to go out on workman's comp, even though like a murder suspect broke my leg, I had to use workman's comp, or whatever. But before I could use workman comp, they made me burn 7 days of vacation before they allowed that, even though like I made the arrest and the dude broke my fucking leg.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you're on workman's comp, you only get like 70% of your pay. And you can't work any off duty or anything.
Yep.
So you're taking a 20% pay cut, plus you're not being able to work any off duty, which is,
That's
probably
huge.
another 20%. So you're losing 40% of your income because,
You were
some
doing your
dumb
job.
piece of shit broke my leg. And one of those nonprofits sent me a check for $200 a month just to help with like grocery expenses and stuff like that. And that was really, really kind and really, really nice. So, it helps. So, it is for a good cause, and hope to see all of you guys here. Listen, the election cycle is around. We do political news breakdowns, society and culture news breakdowns, Mondays, Wednesdays. We do these case breakdowns on Friday, sports news on Thursdays, but we have been throttled so much. We lost our first YouTube channel. You guys remember that back, at the original election 4 years ago, and it's all starting to ramp back up in that way. So really the only way we can get any new listeners is if you guys physically share the show. And even if you have like 5 followers on your Facebook or your Twitter or it doesn't matter. It's just the fact that you shared it. It shows the algorithm that it's been shared, and it boosts us up and gets us out to more people regardless. So if you really want to help our show and shows like Anti-Hero, Two Cops, One Donut Shop podcast, if you want to help those guys, you gotta share their episodes every once in a while, especially if you listen to the whole thing. You got free entertainment for an hour. Just give it a share, or at the very least, give them a 5-star rating or review. Head over to Anti-Hero Podcast, give them a 5-star rating or review, give us a 5-star rating or review. It goes such a long way. You guys really just don't have any idea, but we appreciate you guys, especially all of our paid members being in the chats, all of our Patreon guys. Lots of stuff happening, man. We're growing, and we hope that yes, Anti-Hero is a great show. Bosco, great show. We love it, and they've got a lot of big guests coming up, so a lot of good things happening. For myself, from Tyler, Anti-Hero Podcast, been another Failure to Stop podcast breakdown. We'll see you guys on the next one. Guns up, giddy up, folks.